If you want to trade gold and you're looking to make profit in the next week or in the upcoming week, you make sure you watch this video. You know, gold can really be crazy, and if you don't know what you're doing on gold, you're just going to be blowing your accounts. All right, so I'm going to be showing you the different levels on gold where you should or where you could be looking for potential entries, right, for buys or sells. And you know, the good thing about our trades is whenever we get a trade, we usually get good runners, right? We can get trades of up to 300, 400, 1000 pips in profit, and most times the risk to reward could be about 1:5, 1:7, 1:10, and probably 1:20. You can go watch our previous videos. And you know, the reason our trades, our entries are usually very great and very spot on is because of a certain strategy that we use, right? It's basically the top-down analysis and combined with some other. Just watch this video. This about 6 minutes video, so the link is going to be somewhere in the screen. Just go watch it later after this video, and you understand how we go about our entries. If you watch that video, I bet you're going to be able to improve your entries in 2025, so that you can be able to make significant profits, right? So now let's look at gold. Let's dive into gold. What areas, what levels should we be looking out for? Now, I like the way gold is forming and the way gold has closed for the month, right? And I told you guys 2 weeks ago how that we were expecting something of this nature to happen, right? We're expecting that gold would have a very long week rejection. Now this is the monthly time frame, as you can see, and I was expecting that gold would actually have a long week rejection. Now this is the week rejection we're talking about. I thought it was going to be a little bit much more longer than this, right? Somewhere around here. But this is good. So now what does this mean? What is all this indicating to us on the charts? Gold is still very much bullish. Even when we saw that gold was dropping, when you go down to the weekly and to the daily, as you can see, I told you guys that gold is still very much bullish, right? And so long as gold is still very much bullish, I'm going to be very careful with selling. Now I caught some of these drops here. Right? But I didn't get the whole drop. And the reason is because I'm usually very careful going against the trend. And the trend overall, looking at the monthly time frame, you can see that gold is bullish. Gold is generally bullish, right? And so since gold is generally bullish, and like I said, if you watch our videos on entries, you understand this. And we're going to post in some new videos, so make sure you guys subscribe to this channel and follow, so that whenever we post these videos, you're going to be able to watch them and you won't miss them. A new video is going to be posted on it's going to help you understand this better. So guys, like I said, if gold is generally bullish, right, we need to be looking for mostly buys. That doesn't mean that we can't look for sells. We can look for sells very well, very good, but we need to be mostly looking for buys, because the more you align yourself to the overall direction of the charts, the more likely it would be for you to get in on a winning trade and make profit, right? So we could take some sells, but we should be mostly looking for buys in this chart. So what are the levels we should be looking for buys, and what areas could you be looking for potential sells? Now these were the different lines and zones we marked out last week, so we might be adjusting it now a little. We might be adding 1 or 2 more lines, and we might be adjusting it now a little. Looking at the monthly charts, we can see how price rejected from this fair value gap on this monthly time frame, right? There are 2 things that could happen here. We could see price go back up to this tip of this previous month candle, right? To the high of the previous month candle, and once price gets there, price might actually sweep it, and then we might see price getting back down, dropping back down. So we might see price going up to 2758, right? And then once price sweeps that high of the previous month, we might see price drop again. Now if price does that and price drops, then we might see price coming back down to this low of the previous month, probably even sweeping it or even breaking it significantly, and then somewhere around there we could look for buys. So we could be looking for buys at this 2543 level, the low of the previous month's candle. Now one could say we could look for buys from somewhere around here, but I'm not certain that place would hold. I think price would actually go lower to either the low of the previous month's candle, which is 2540, 2546 level, and it might even break it and even go a little bit lower to around 2500. We might see price go to around 2500. That's a 2500 level, or even come down lower to around 24 40, 45, 50 level, right? And then we might see price bouncing from that particular point. Now we don't know what's going to happen. All we just need to do is just mark out these key areas, right, and wait for price to get to those points. And when price gives us the reaction that we're looking for, then we get in on the trade. Now the second thing that price could do in the new month is that price could just, not really go up. Price could just start dropping first. Price could drop and then go down to the low of the previous week, which we said is 2537, right? And once price gets there, price could react from that zone after sweeping that level and then start to push up, right? And that's not very bad. That's a good area to look for buys. So if price gets to 40 level and sweeps the low of the previous month, and we see good rejections from that zone, then we can go in on the buy and hold the trade. Now another thing that could happen is when price does that and comes down, price could probably go break it completely, closed very bearish on the next month, and then if that happens, then we might see price coming down to around 2500 and even to 2430, 35, 50 area, and then from there we could see price rejecting upwards. So like I said, price is generally bullish, so we should, sorry about the dog, we should be looking for mostly buys and not sells. But if we see a good selling opportunity, we're definitely going to go in on the charts, but we're going to be very cautious about the sells, right? So let's go to the weekly time frame. So look at this, is the weekly charts, right? Now this is the weekly charts. So like I said, looking at the monthly, it's clear, looking at what we saw on the monthly, it's clear that price will most likely push down, because whenever price forms, let's go back to the monthly, whenever price forms like this on the monthly, price tends to always go back to the previous low of the monthly candle like this, right? And then probably reacts from there. But now when you go to the weekly, you can clearly see, I told you last week, you can clearly see how this week over here, 2 weeks ago, the candle closed very bullish. This candle here closed very bullish, right? You can see it. And when I saw that, I told you guys I was very skeptical about buying this trade, going in on this charts there. I was skeptical because in as much as it closed very bullish, you see how that the weekly charts broke this particular low here, right? And so it was expected, I was expecting the price to continue to push down a little bit lower, but I also suspected that we might see a little bit of consolidation around here, which is what we're seeing now. And that's just simply because we are at the close of the year, right? So people are just cooling off, charts are just cooling off and getting itself ready for the next year. So what do we see now on this weekly chart? Now we can see a break of structure over here, right? But we can also see this bullish engulfing candle that closed very bullish and broke this particular week, this previous week's candle, and then now the next week that just closed also closed bearish, right? But with a weak rejection over down here, right? Looking like buyers are trying to step in. So what do? Just stay away from the markets. Don't jump into the charts anyhow, right? Because you need to be very cautious. Like I said, because of this break of structure over here, now there is no break of structure above, right? Some could say that there was a break of structure somewhere around there when you go to the lower time frame, right? But there's no clear break of structure over there yet. Some cases, sometimes price could push up from here, but looking at the way the monthly has formed, we just have to be very cautious. In some cases, sometimes when price forms like this, you could expect that price will come down to this point and then start to push up, right? But like I said, looking at the way price has formed, that might not happen. We might see price come down much lower to this point, to 2540 level, or even sweep it, right? Or even sweep it, and then price might go up again, and then probably even push down, and then probably even push down lower before we can now start seeing price start to continue the bullish move up, right? So that's what I'm seeing. So let's readjust this our levels. Let's readjust it. Now looking at this, I prefer to let's put this at the tip of the previous month, so we know what we're looking at, what we're keeping our eyes on. Good. Now I don't want this to look too crowded, but I'd like to put one over here too as well. Yes, I'd like to put one over there. I'll go to the lower time frame to see what's looking like there. And I think I'd like to remove this. But if I remove it, let me put one here. Right. And let me put this here. Good. So I might remove this and remove this, but we might remove 2604 and 2686 because it might no longer be significant, right? Let's look at it. 2604, right? Okay, we might leave 2604 and just to keep an eye on that point. I honestly think this is not important right now. This covers that whole area. This line covers that whole area, so we don't need that, right? So guys, this is I think this is it. This is what we're going to be looking for. This is what we're going to be keeping our eyes on. Let me go back to the monthly. Right, let's remove this 2633. It's not needed. So this is what we're going to be keeping our eyes on. So guys, so these are the levels we're going to be keeping our eyes on, right? We're going to be looking at 2600 level to see how price reacts from there when price gets there, but I believe price is going to break it. When price gets to 2535, we're going to see how price reacts from that zone to then. If it breaks it lower, we'll see how price will react from 2500 and then to 430 level, right? Those are the zones we're going to be looking for buys. Go back to the monthly. Let's see something. So guys, this is what we're going to be keeping our eyes on. Now, like we said, if the next month closes very bearish and breaks this low and closes very bearish, right, we might see price pushing down lower, right? But the most important thing is we should be looking for buys once we start to see key rejections at certain points, at key levels, right? If you see a good rejection at 2540 level, right, 2535 level, good. If you see a good rejection for sales at 2759 level, that's also good. If we see a good buy rejection from somewhere around 2395 level, that's also good. That's 2400 level, that's also good. So we just need to just observe the market and be patient. Now, I've not been able to take a trade for the past like almost 3 weeks now. 3 weeks, and that's what trading is all about. You need to be patient. You don't just force yourself in on a chart just because you want to take a trade, right? You have to be patient if you want to become profitable in trading. Now let's go to the daily time frame. Let's see what we're looking at, what we're seeing now. So looking at this, everything is looking good. So it's giving us more confirmations that price might most likely drop, right? You can see this rejection here on this daily candle, right? And you can see all this multiple rejections happening here. So we might see price getting ready to drop. We never can tell, right? So we just need to just be patient and wait for the right setup. Now, like I said last week, I could have cut this push up. I could have cut this buys from here up, right? But I missed it on Thursday. It was a Thursday, right? I missed it. I wasn't looking at the chart. I think that was the US election week. So I just decided to stay away from the charts and just watch how everything plays out, right? So, but I missed it, and the moment I missed it, I knew I was not going to be able to enter this trade again. I couldn't just force myself in. I don't know how to do that. I know there are some people that will try to force themselves in and all that, but your stop loss and everything's going to be awkward, right? So I stayed out of the charts and I decided to wait, and I'm waiting and I'm being patient, and let's see how everything goes. When we get a good setup, then we're going to go in on that chart, going on the charts, right? So like I said, guys, those are the levels we're looking at. Looking at the daily again. Like I said, we're going to be looking for price to reject off 2761, right? And that makes good sense. Now, those of you who trade ICT or SMC concepts and all those liquidity and inducements and all that, if you look here, look at the chart, you'll see that there's something of that nature, right? Let me point that out. Now, if you look at this point, you see that there was a break of structure here, and you see an internal break of structure over here too as well. These are major break of structure, right? Then what you can see here is what caused this break over here first. What caused this break? It was this guy, right? And so you can refer to this as the inducement, and this hasn't been swept yet, right? And what caused this break? It was this guy over here, right? And this just got swept, and that's why you can see this rejection down here, right? So what price might do, like I said, is price might actually go up. Price could actually go up and reject from this zone, right? Let's draw that for you. So price, we could see price go up from here and reject from this zone and start dropping, right? Or we could even see price go a little bit higher over here and reject from this zone, right? You might see it reject from somewhere around here, and then it starts to drop, right? And then we'll now start looking for our buys from key areas. If we see good rejections from here, right, then we take it. If it breaks it lower, then no problem, we leave the trade. If we see good rejections from here and then it's giving us signs of reversal upwards, then we take it. If it breaks it lower, then fine, we remain patient and we wait. Then if we see a good rejection from whichever zone we're looking for, then we go in on the trade. So something of this nature, this could actually happen, right? This could actually happen. We could see something of this nature actually happen. So guys, take note of this, take note of this, take note of this. And like I said, we could see the rejection happen from here. We could see the rejection, the bounce happen from here, right? But it could also come down lower. It could come down lower, right? So, but these are the key levels that we should be keeping our eyes on. These are the key levels that we should be keeping our eyes on. I don't think there's need to go to the 4-hour. It's just going to make things look more complex, right? Yeah. So no need for that. No need to go to the 4-hour order. It's still the same thing. The daily is much clearer, right? And that's why you need to learn how to analyze your charts from the higher time frame. The higher time frame will give you the overall direction of what price is doing, right? And then you can see things clearer. You can now go to the lower time frames like the 1 hour, the 30 minutes, or even the 15 minutes if you have to. And that's the way you'll be able to look for solid entries, right? When you look out for those multiple week rejections from those zones where you're either looking for buys or for sells, and then you get in on the charts. So guys, these are the levels we are going to be looking at. We could be looking at for sells from 2761, right? That's a good area to look for sells, and we can be looking for buys from 2604, 2536, or even much lower to like 2500 or 2450 level, right? So we could be looking for buys from that area. So let's see how the chart goes. Let's see how the month is going to go. Let's see how everything starts and how the year is going to close. So guys, if you've been able to find this helpful, you love our content, make sure to subscribe, make sure to like our content, like the video, and share with others so that more people like you could find this. And peace out guys, have a wonderful week.